I'm meant for this one. Hello. So, yes, my name's Lizzie Hodgson. I'm founder and director of ThinkNation. We, very, very condensed kind of example of what we do is we humanise impact on young people. We do it through short documentaries and workshops and talks and events, and we empower young people to question how technology is going to impact them today and in their future. So will artificial intelligence diminish our humanity? We get young people to talk about that. We also bring thought leaders in to discuss how that's actually going to happen, and then those ideas from young people are then taken back into industry. I'm absolutely passionate about what I do. That passion, I'm going to touch on how that passion came about, and also about this Jigsaw career that I think is hugely relevant to every single one of us today in the creative industry, certainly, and also I think beyond. Let's see what the next slide says. Oh, that's me. That's my Twitter handle. I've actually put a call out for a videographer if you want to have a look for that. We are hiring, so have a look at my Twitter handle. How to do what you love, aka the Jigsaw career. I'm going to leave it on that one. I've got a few notes, but I might be freestyling it a little bit, so please forgive me. Everyone knows what a jigsaw is, yeah? Has everyone created a jigsaw? Has anyone never ever touched a jigsaw in their entire life? Right, what's the principle of a jigsaw? What's the first thing you should do when you have a jigsaw? What's that? You find the corner pieces? Yes. You've got to find the corner pieces. Without the corner pieces, a jigsaw doesn't really come together. And this is what I realized when I was reflecting on what I've done. For this talk, it's kind of quite personal what I'm going to talk about. I reflected on my career, and I realized my career has spun 33 years. And when I say career, I mean my first ever job. 11 years old, cleaning my village bus shelter for 50p a week. Ever since then, I have never, ever not worked. I have not been out of a job through university, through college, through everything, through my GCSEs. I've always worked. I've had 35 jobs in 33 years. You can do the maths. You can work out how old I am. I'm 44 years old. I still don't believe that my jigsaw is anywhere near filled at all. So the jigsaw is about us filling those spaces. The jigsaw is about us finding those opportunities that's going to propel us forward to the next stage. For me, I always knew that I had a I think it's called a creative bent, is what my mother said. I had a creative bent. Now, back in early 90s, when I went to university, these opportunities weren't there. There was no, we had an email came in the year I graduated. That's how old I am. We had no social media, nothing like that. So it was very narrow what I believed I could go into. And I probably went into the wrong things. I went into journalism. I went into things that kind of like stifled me more than anything. But through those periods of working in journalism, working for Comic Relief, doing these things, I realized I was building up my portfolio, my armory of experience. And that's the thing that this is all about. It's all about. This jigsaw isn't about necessarily finding the very thing that you love in the first piece. The picture will emerge to help you find what you love. And doing things that might not seem the best choice at the time, or doing things that might feel a little bit out of your comfort zone, are just as important as finding that dream job. Oh, and by the way, there is no dream job. I don't know, does anyone disagree with me? It's like, there is no dream job. You can construct the world around the work that you love doing, and also loving what you do does not mean it's easy either. So I was doing these different jobs. I was sticking with them for about 2 or 3 years, which back then would seem a very, very short time. Everyone was telling me, you've got to stick with it. You've got to, how are you going to build your career if you keep jumping from job to job? And I didn't listen to them. I just did not, it didn't make sense to me. Why, if I don't quite know what I'm going to do, if I don't quite know where I fit in, if I don't know what my talent really is, why should I stick with one thing? So what I did is I learned. I went into jobs and I learned. And I was kind of like reflecting what the speaker said before, and I know your name, I'm so sorry. James, kind of reflecting what James said before. You need to put yourself out there to find out what you're good at. You might have a passion, you might have a thing, I really love design, or I really love this, or I really love that, or whatever. But until you're in the reality of doing it, you don't know what you're going to be any good at. And I think employers, certainly now I'm an employer, and I'm on the other side of everything, I really respect employers now. I did not respect them quite as much as I should have done when I was trying all these different things out. And a good employer will allow you to thrive and will allow you to fail as well. And that's the biggest part of this. If you are not putting yourself out there, if you're not surfacing yourself and showing yourself and proving yourself on social media, definitely in our industry, of course you should be all over social media. And I'm not talking about, kind of like, how fast you can Snapchat. I'm talking about evidence what you're good at. Evidence so that people can see you and find you. If you are not doing that, nobody's going to be bothered by you. And also taking that into an organisation and being, as James says, saying, this is what I can do. But also being honest with organisations and say, I don't know how good I am at it, but I want to learn. And a great organisation will help you thrive. And I think that that's sort of like we're seeing shifts in employers doing that now. So if you are the one that kind of like says, I've got an idea of what I want to do, but I don't quite know how I'm going to do it, don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that at all. In fact, use that to your advantage, because people are far more forgiving of failure than I think people realise. The greatest thing that I've ever done in my career is ThinkNation. I am so proud of it. And it came out of catastrophic failure. Catastrophic personal, professional failure. Everything collapsed. Everything went wrong. My work, I had a startup and it failed. And when you have a 6-figure investment, 11 shareholders, partners in the US and the UK, and you can't do it anymore because I lost the passion and it became too much for me, and the sales, everything was wrong. That collapse was horrific. It was humiliating, it was public, my peers knew all about it, even Virgin.com did a blog about it. That's how painful it can be. But I decided I could do something about that, and the first organisation that picked me up was a local digital agency in Canterbury. I was living in Kent at the time. And they said, what's happened? And I was very honest with them. I said, this has happened. This has failed. I did this mistake, this mistake. They said, we want to hire you. And they hired me. And they gave me, as a recovery of my emotional and mental disaster, they gave me this one little thing to run, a little event to run every month, every single month out of the University of Kent. I built that in 1 year from 20 people to a big annual festival with Robin Ince. Does everyone know Robin Ince from the Infinite Monkey Cage? I built that in 1 year. I then had the trigger for ThinkNation. I went to my employers, I said, I've got this idea. And they said, it's not for us, but good luck. So I had a choice. I had a choice of taking all of this experience from 20 years experience of trying these different things out, building my confidence, knowing what failure is and going, right, I have a choice. I either do this or I don't do it. So I did it. And the feeling of doing something out of failure or doing something because you know, you've all got that little kind of like burning thing in you, yeah? Everyone has that. Everyone? Does anyone have that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes. You know what I'm talking about. And you know when that's not being satiated. You know when that's kind of like you're hitting that dead end and that wall. This was when this moment, when I had this decision to either go with it or don't go with it, that was the moment when it just exploded. And my passion had finally arrived. 2.5 years later, because I took the risk, because I knew what utter failure was, because I knew what losing my house was, because I knew what breaking down a relationship was, because I knew I had ground zero, and I knew what to do, what not to do, I built it up. We've just finished an event in New York. We've got 14 events that we've done so far to date. We're working with the Joseph Rowntree Foundation. Oh, we've got an event at Platform 9 on Friday. We're doing a little screening if you want to come. We are building something out of nothing. And that's because I've had 20 years of experience of trying different things out, of working hard, of listening, of learning. No one owed me anything. No one owes you anything. You've got to put yourself out there, and you've got to be brave, and you've got to face it, and you've got to build your own passion around that spark in you. The other thing I want to say is, just because you're doing this now, and just because this is happening now, this isn't the rest of my life. 44 years old, I've worked out, so long as I stay pretty healthy, and so long as I stay, I don't get run over tomorrow, I've probably got about 35, I'd like 30 to 35 years of employment or work ahead of me. I've only been working since the age of 11 for 33 years. So when you look at it in that way, your jigsaw's got to be massive. Absolutely massive. because this doesn't define you now. This is part of your picture. And your picture will only come to full, beautiful completion the day you die. Nothing is, apart from that truth, I don't believe in anything else. Your picture is the day you die. My picture is just under halfway done. I still can't see what the picture is, but in my mind's eye, it's beautiful, it's bright, it's hopeful, and it's exciting. And that's because the industries that we're all working with, the creative and digital industries, are the very industries that are going to allow us to do that. Bit of a fact, I'm going to get this wrong, but I'm just going to throw a stat at you. It'll be wrong somehow. 87%, Nesta said in 2015, 87% of those in highly creative work in the creative industries won't be negatively impacted by machine learning, okay? That's because humans still matter. And we look at technology all the time in my work. We look at the impact. Humans matter, and the creative industries and the human touch matter. So all of this stuff, at the end of the day, it's this that matters. And it's humans that matter. And you're the ones that are going to be able to find that niche, whatever it is, whatever that is, you'll be the ones that will find that niche and be in that wonderful environment to thrive. And you're going to be really, really in demand, but also don't forget, there's always people coming up behind you, which kind of like goes back to what James was saying. Make yourself visible and find those relationships, build those relationships. Our business now has been built on relationships. Yeah, we're on social. We have our content. We're always out there. You know, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. But it's humans that make the difference. And the creative industry is the absolute best place to be doing all of that, because we don't know what's going to happen. We can't plan 18 months ahead. No company can. If any company knows what they're going to be in 18 months' time, it's nonsense. Technology is going to be the disruptor. But we as humans, we can then adapt to it, and we can bring value and surface your own talent. I'm Lizzie Hodgson. Thank you very much. I am going to be hanging around for a little bit if you want to come talk. We are really honestly looking for a part-time videographer. We are desperate for them. If you're Brighton-based, come and have a chat with me, but also come and have a chat with me as well if you want any more advice. I'm on LinkedIn. You're all on LinkedIn, aren't you? Yeah, I'm under Lizzie Hodgson. Just Google Lizzie Hodgson. Find me, connect with me, follow me on Twitter. I'm passionate about sharing information back to particularly young people, well, anyone, but young people in particular, because that's what we do, but anyone, and I'm always open to a coffee and a chat. Absolutely, no question, I'll buy the coffee. Oh, and Platform 9 Thursday, we've got a screening of our latest short film about poverty, twisting the narrative of poverty from young people. It's at Platform 9 in Brighton. Anyone know Platform 9 Brighton? Just look them up. Yeah, Platform 9 Brighton. That's why I keep saying Brighton. Free screening, and I'm there as well. And just come and have a chat with me, and that's it. And enjoy today.